Welcome into the DRF Sportsbook Betting Breakdown College Basketball Edition. The Super Bowl is over. The NFL season has come to an end, so we turn our attention to college basketball, folks. This is one of my favorite times of the year. You turn your attention over to the college hardwood, and you're getting prepped for March Madness, the insanity that is coming in just a few weeks. Conference tournaments are right around the corner, and then that leads us right into the NCAA tournament. So we are focusing all things college basketball on the DRF Sportsbook Betting Breakdown. And if you're not already, follow us at DRF Sportsbook for all the exclusive betting angles, trends, data, everything like that to keep you informed and help boost your bankroll. We have promos coming out on social only things happening. So be sure to give us a follow at DRF Sportsbook on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're on social, we're right there with you. So we're breaking down 4 games heading into this weekend, 3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. They are Big Ten. Let me check. We got a Big Ten. We got a Big 12. We got some SEC action. It's going to be a weekend, I think, that you can make a lot of money. It's starting off on Saturday, our biggest game of the day. Baylor heads to Kansas, Allen Fieldhouse, where the Jayhawks are 4-point favorites, a ranked matchup between two of the best teams in college basketball. Baylor comes in with the best offense in the country, which is kind of surprising for myself. When I think of Baylor, I don't think of electric offenses. I think of kind of really steady offenses with solid defenses, but that's not the case this season. Baylor comes in with an electric offense, the number 1 offense in all of the nation, according to KenPom. But on the flip side, Kansas is more of the well-rounded team. Kansas has the 14th best defense and the 20th best offense, according to KenPom. So Baylor may actually struggle a bit against the Jayhawks, which is why Jayhawks are getting 4 points, according to KenPom in this one. Baylor's defense is just 78th in the nation. So that gap between the Baylor defense and the Kansas offense is much bigger than the gap between the Baylor offense and the Kansas defense, despite Baylor's offense being elite. After losing to Iowa State, Kansas comes in on a solid winning streak, winning their last 3 games. Their Iowa State loss was the last time they lost. It was in Hilton. It was an electric atmosphere, and Kansas has answered that with 3 straight dominant wins. On the other hand, Baylor's rattled off 4 straight extremely convincing wins themselves after their loss to Texas 5 games ago. So both of these teams are coming in hot. Both of these teams have been firing on all cylinders as of late. So it's a question of kind of what gives in this one. And this is the key in the game. Kansas is going to feast in the interior. They shoot at 52.7% from inside the arc. And Baylor's defense has struggled mightily stopping the 2-point shot. They're 274th in the nation in 2-point defense. So Kansas should be able to feast on the interior, and the only way I think Baylor can keep this one close is if they're able to rebound the ball on the offensive side. They have Flo Thamba, who's one of the best offensive rebounders in the nation, and Baylor overall is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation. But if Kansas can kind of negate that, stop any type of second chance points from Baylor from racking up, I think Kansas can take home this win. Kansas is the better overall team, and that's why I'm on the Jayhawks -4 in this one. I think they may win by a comfortable margin. I think Kansas is the better team in this game. We're moving from that Big 12 matchup to another Big 12 matchup on Saturday, a 2 p.m. Eastern tip between Iowa State and Kansas State. Kansas State is a 2-point favorite in this game, and both of these teams, the Cyclones and the Wildcats, come in on skids. Iowa State has lost 4 of their last 6. Kansas State has lost 4 of their last 5. Not a good sign as we're heading closer to the end of February. We're heading closer to conference tournament time. They're slipping in the conference standings, and that isn't good for either team. So what do they have to do to get right? What do these two teams have to do in order to turn things around? For Iowa State, I think it's pretty simple. They have one of the most elite defenses in the nation. I believe they're 8th in defensive efficiency. So you just maintain that, right? And you got to get more of a consistent offense out of this Cyclones team. I mean, they're led by Jaron Holmes. They got Bob Jones, who's struggling a little bit. Oshin Osuni. Some injuries are racking up. They need to get some of these guys back. But at the end of the day, if they can just get consistent play, not elite level play, but consistent play out of this offense, I think this team is poised for a solid March run. But their key also is they've dominated at Hilton. At home, this is an Iowa State team that is nearly unbeatable. They have a plus 19 point differential at home. Then when they go on the road, things get a little icy for them. On the road this season, they're 2-6 straight up, 3-5 against the spread, and they're outscored by 5.4 points a game. A huge difference from what they were doing at home at Hilton. And this game's on the road. So they have to learn how to play away from Hilton here as they finish up the season, because newsflash, the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament are away from Hilton. Neutral site venues, so not as crazy and not as raucous as going on the road to Manhattan, Kansas to take on Kansas State. But still, this Iowa State team needs to learn how to keep composure and play on the road. You would think defense travels, but that has not been the case for Iowa State this season. On the other side, Kansas State has turned the ball over at an extremely high clip. They're ranked 277th in the nation in turnover percentage. They're turning it over 19.9% of their offensive possessions, folks. That's not good. So they have to stop doing that in order to win games moving on into the season. They got to be more careful with the basketball. But if you're at this point of the season and you're turning it over at that high of a clip, it may be a way of just trying to figure out how to deal with that issue rather than trying to negate it. We are deep into the season, folks, and these issues are issues that are here to stay. But I'll say this, if Kansas State can figure out somehow, some way to get rid of turning the ball over, they have a shot at winning some games and making a good run. This is a good K-State team. But in this game, that turning the ball over is going to be a major, major issue. They get blocked a lot. They get the ball stolen a lot. Iowa State is 68th in the nation in block percentage. They're 5th in the nation in steal percentage. Iowa State is one of the best teams at turning the ball over. I believe they're top 5 in turning you over, getting turnovers at an extremely high clip. So Iowa State matches up extremely, extremely well against Kansas State in this game, which I think Iowa State wins this game outright. If they're the moneyline dog, I'm all over the Cyclones in this game. And I know what I just said about them struggling on the road. I think they just match up so well in this game that they have what it takes to take down a Kansas State team that's on a slide. And I know Iowa State is too, but Kansas State's slide is a little bit more scary and has been a little bit more pronounced over Iowa State's. So give me Iowa State money line straight up. I think the Cyclones have what it takes to win this game. And our last Saturday game is an SEC showdown between what I think is one of the best teams in the country in Tennessee and Kentucky. Look, I know Tennessee lost those 2 games. They should not have lost, folks. But those were buzzer beaters. That's luck. You can't fault them for luck. Now, should they have been hanging around with Missouri? No. They should have blown them away and not even had an opportunity to buzzer beat. I get it. But it's SEC play. It's conference play in mid-February. Things get a little bit tighter. Things get a little bit tougher. And for Tennessee, those were 2 fluky losses. If you play that game 100 times, I think they're only losing it 2 times, maybe. They're probably going 98-2. Tennessee is the better team. Tennessee is one of the best teams in the country. According to KenPom, they're the 4th best team. In my opinion, I think they are a top 3 team, so I'm right there with KenPom. They have the best defense in the country, and they have a solid offense. They're led by Zagai Ziegler, who assists at a crazy high percentage. He has a 100-plus offensive rating, and 9 of Tennessee's 10 guys who have played this season have an offensive rating of 100-plus. So not only can they get it done on the defensive side, they have dudes on the offensive side who are wildly efficient, and that's why Tennessee is one of the best teams in the nation. Then you flip it on over to Kentucky. They are getting 4 points in this game. It's Kentucky -4, and it's because it's at home and they play extremely well at Rupp Arena. And Kentucky's offense is nothing to sneeze at. They have 10 of their 11 guys with an offensive rating of 100 plus. But what makes Tennessee the better team in this game, it's what makes Tennessee a lock. It's what makes them a lock to make a run in March during the tournament. It's their defense, folks. Defense travels no matter where you go. Offense, sometimes you can have off nights, but defense, 9 times out of 10, it is showing up every single night. And so for that reason, I think Tennessee is the money line winner on this one. If they're the underdog, hammer it, hammer it, hammer it. Honestly, I think they cover this game. If you flip this, Kentucky +4, I think Tennessee covers it extremely well. Kentucky has a wildly efficient offense, right? And it's a good-on-good matchup where Kentucky is really good at. Tennessee's defense is really good at stopping and vice versa. But Kentucky gets a large percentage of their points from inside the from inside the arc in the 2-point range. Kentucky gets 56% of their points from the 2-point area. And that's where Tennessee's defense is extremely, extremely good. And actually, Kentucky's offense isn't that great at scoring from inside the arc. I assume because they take a lot of mid-range jumpers, they have a sub 50% percentage from inside the arc, which is not a percentage you want because inside the arc, you know what you're shooting. Paint shots from inside too. You should have a plus 50% shooting percentage from inside the 2-point arc. But Kentucky doesn't, and Tennessee defends that inside area really, really well. They've held teams to just 43% shooting from the 2-point area. So I think Tennessee matches up really well where Kentucky gets a majority of their points. And for that reason, defense, 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 folks. Tennessee wins this one. I'm hammering them as money. If they're money line dogs, I am salivating at that game. And then we're going to move on over to Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tip. We got Big Ten action, folks. Iowa at Northwestern. This is Sunday's best game, without a doubt. These are two teams that match up well. It's going to be a fun game. I mean, Iowa's offense is wildly efficient. Northwestern's defense is wildly efficient. Another good-on-good matchup. It's at Northwestern. Northwestern's getting 2 points. And Northwestern is sneaky, sneaky good. After being finally ranked in KenPom at 87, that was their final rank in KenPom, sitting at 87. They've jumped up to 46th in KenPom this season, and they're coming off of back-to-back wins against Purdue and Indiana. They've won the 2 games before that, so they're on a nice little 4-game winning streak, and they are going to put that on the line on Sunday. They're going to put that on the line on Thursday as well. They have a matchup on Thursday in the Big Ten before they even get to this game on Sunday. So it may impact how this line is viewed, but as of KenPom, as of right now, Northwestern is a 2-point favorite against Iowa. Northwestern, though, 24th best defense in the nation, and they're led by Boo Buie. He's a guard that has an extremely high assist rate, much like Zagai Ziegler with Tennessee, an experienced guy that's had a lot of run at that guard position. An experienced backcourt is really what matters when you're in this time of the season and you're moving into March. Northwestern has what they need in Boo Buie, and they have what they need with their defense. I mean, a 24th best defense. Their offense leaves some to be desired, a sub 100 offensive efficiency rating according to KenPom, but their defense is so good. I mean, you don't beat Purdue and Indiana, that defense. And so Iowa's going to need a great effort from their offense, which is one of the best in the nation, led by Chris Murray. Chris Murray is a fantastic player, Big Ten player who is in the conversation for Big Ten Player of the Year. But he's going to need some help from a lot of people to help win this game. Iowa's offense, nothing to sneeze at. And I don't believe, I don't know why I've said that saying twice now in this one DRF Sportsbook betting breakdown, but they're going to need a good effort from that offense. It's going to be tough. And it's a question of, do you trust offense or defense in this game, right? Do you trust home versus away? What do you trust? Iowa has the offense, but does offense travel? So far this season, their offense hasn't traveled all that well. They're 3-5 straight up on the road in true road games. They're 3-4-1 against the spread in true road games, and they have a negative 1.6 point differential in true road games. If this was at home for Iowa, I think I'm all over the Hawkeyes. However, this game's on the road, at Northwestern. Northwestern has put together a fantastic 4-game stretch. I think Northwestern is slowly but surely moving up the Big Ten rankings. They're going in the right direction. And Iowa's looked pretty solid as well. But I have more faith in Northwestern at home with one of the stingiest defenses in the country than I do against an Iowa offense that goes on the road and may struggle a little bit against one of the best defenses in the nation. That's why I'm on Northwestern here. I'm not on Northwestern -2. I'm going to go on them money line. I'm willing to take that from -110 to like a -140, -150. I'm willing to eat that a little bit, eat that value a little bit, because I think this might be a close game. Chris Murray is that dude. But Northwestern's defense, I think they'll have Boo Buie and some other guys hit some big shots. Give me Northwestern on the money line here in this college basketball weekend. That is a fantastic weekend of Big 12 action, Big 10 action, SEC, ACC, whatever you want. We have so many lines available right now on DRF Sportsbook for today's games, for tomorrow's games. We'll go up tomorrow morning. We all know how college basketball works. Those lines come out day of. So get ready. Head on over to DRF Sportsbook and get your bets in for this college basketball weekend. You do not want to miss a second of this action. Let's be profitable, folks. We'll see you next week.